gang, my dupes, duples, and duplets, welcome back to my corner of the world. This is a new video series that I want to start called Scrap and Yap. It's pretty self-explanatory. We scrap, sketch, draw, paint, whatever you want, and I yap your ear off. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for the overwhelming amount of support on the first video. I literally had no idea that it would get this amount of attention that it did, especially since it's so bad. I literally posted it and then forgot about it one day, and when I checked in, my eyes popped out of my head like cartoon style. So just thank you. This is also low-key a filler for my Lytheria character sheet video that I've been hard at work at. Balancing Artfight and the sheer bulk of writing the script is like absolutely insane. So thank you for your patience. I promise I'll get that out soon. So yeah, these videos will be super chill. I encourage you to bust out your sketchbook or drawing device and just doodle along with me. Or if you just want to put me on as background noise, that's chill too. So let's get right into it. I'm currently just jotting down my two characters from my comic Lytheria, which is in the works. The guy right now that I'm drawing is named Xanther, and the one I'm going to draw later is Cade. They're practically the main characters, and I love their silly dynamic very much. I definitely want to illustrate more of them in the future, and if you want to check out all 5 of my Lytheria character sheets, as well as some basic info on all of my children, they're displayed on my Artfight profile, and I'll also post them on Instagram when I get to it. As of right now, we are currently on day 9 of Artfight. That's crazy. And wow, you guys are insane. Like literally. Like I got a collective about 9 to 10 attacks last year in the span of the entire month. And just from these 9 days, I've received not 2, not 4, not 10, but 17 attacks. Like, hello? Where did you all come from? But, you know, I'm so thankful. It truly means the world, and I think it's so awesome that you guys all love my children so much. I plan to revenge every single one of you, but goddamn, you guys couldn't, like, space them out? It's like every single time I submit a revenge, a new attack arrow just gets shot into my back when I least expect it. If anything, this will really get me to push myself this year, but I'm a little disappointed that I won't be able to make full rendered pieces for every single attack like how I initially planned. Come to think of it, that's low-key insane. Maybe this is a good thing. I've been doing a mix of rendering and simple comic pages just to practice. Artfight is mainly my way of just playing with my art process, and so the deadline just helps speed things along so I don't have pieces sitting in my drive collecting dust going, please finish me! But I've been having a lot of fun, and I've met a ton of new people through Artfight in this channel, and they're just so awesome with such interesting OCs. Like, I'm foaming at the mouth. It's so cool. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy watching me painfully claw myself up this abhorrently large revenge list. But, you know, don't let this discourage you from attacking. I'm literally just the king of being overdramatic. I got this. We got this. Again, thank you. I've recorded speed paints for a few of my attacks, even the comic pages. So if you ever like to see that, I'd be down to just compile them all into one massive speed paint and just yap about the experience. So let me know if that sounds dope. Besides Artfight, I've really been trying to make time for some other hobbies. My brother brought home his electric guitar, which I've like totally hijacked. The thing is not going anywhere. And since I'm such a predictable specimen, angsty, of course I've just been spam learning Mitski songs. Let me have this! Let me have this! It's cute though. My brother also brought home his electric drum kit. It has a tendency to just impulse buy instruments. I think he has like an ocarina and a plastic purple trombone, which that's a mouthful, and a DJ board, which he's totally into right now. At the time at the time that I'm talking about this, I had only learned Yellow from Coldplay, which like, I got it, it's a good song. And he was like, yo, let's jam. And I kind of just sputtered in confusion while I haphazardly strummed out the chords to Coldplay while he followed along on his drums. God bless him, because like, I could not keep my timing straight. We were literally starting and stopping over and over again. It was really cute though, and my dreams of being in a band are like somewhat tangibly true, if that's a word. By the way, in this doodle spread, I was mainly testing out simplifying the characters and messing with brushes. We encourage experimentation. It can be messy. Nothing needs to be like fully rendered pieces or like really clean sketches. Just do whatever you want. As much as I love my detail-heavy designs for illustrative purposes, I'm aware that I really need to simplify them a ton when I start working on the comic. Xanther is totally easy for this purpose since he's literally just a lizard in a towel, wearing enormously long bloomers. Cade, on the other hand, I gotta workshop that. I feel like I didn't show enough of his personality in his character sheet. Like, bro is mogging in every single frame. I promise he is so silly, I promise. Okay, besides my failing music career, I've recently just been like microwave spinning random interactions I have in my head because I really want to just make mini comic strips out of them. It sounds so fun! Like, I think we underestimate how silly our day-to-day lives are. Like, for example, my friends and I want to check out this reptile expo that was happening in my city, and I mentioned it to my mom, who immediately went, hell no, to potential snake. Fair. She said something about, like, snakes wanting to eat you or something. Okay, either way, I jokingly said that I'd rather have a ferret than a snake, since they're, like, almost just as long and stupid and, like, plenty of spinal problems. And then my mom said, oh, hell no. Those guys fart smells super stinky. And I kind of just stared in confusion until I realized, oh, no, Mom, those are skunks. And she was like, oh, well, are you gonna get the water for it to swim in? Oh, no, Mom, those are otters. Oh, well, don't those things eat your wood? And I'm like, Mom, that's a beaver. I can't make this up. And then we just stared at each other and then started bursting out laughing. There's another moment that's been like seared into my brain that happened quite recently. I've been on my learner's permit for driving for a while, and I've been taking Alfred driving lessons like twice now. The last time I opened the driver's side and plopped into my seat, I turned towards my instructor and realized this guy's just fisting a family-sized bag of Doritos in his face. Like, he's taking chip to face in between every single word. Freaking, and I was like so dumbfounded. Like, I wasn't sure if I should like address it or like by the way, this man is like at least 60. I was so scared that bro was gonna get like a heart attack from the cholesterol or something and then leave me trembling at the wheel with an unconscious body in the passenger seat. And even funnier was that when we began to pull back up to my house, I noticed that bro did that thing where you rip the side of the bag of chips, like you rip the actual bag so his hands could obtain easier access to the cheesy Dorito goodness. Like, Doritos cannot be that good. Maybe I don't get it because I'm a fiend for like sour cream and barbecue and like nothing else. But like, I just, come on, Doritos literally can't be that good. Like, I've heard of this like addiction among like random communities. This Dorito like pandemic, this infestation that's happening. And then no joke, he started choking on a Dorito. Like, sir, we haven't even parked yet. I don't know how to do this shit. You better touch this wheel with your Dorito stained hands before I die. He's fine, I think. We'll find out during the next session. I've been getting back into binging Steven Universe. I'm not really a show person, and it's mainly due to the fact that I have a habit of constantly wanting to multitask. I can knock out a movie, no problem. It's just like, you know, an hour or two investment. But I find it really hard to like invest into a show, especially when I feel guilty for not paying full attention. Because, you know, said show has been vetted by friends or family, and, you know, they say the story's really good, and I, you know, don't want to like be that guy who just kind of looks up every 2 seconds. But Steven Universe is just one of those shows I can throw in the background, and I love it so much, and I'm definitely a little biased because it's my childhood show and has totally influenced my art and writing so much. Like, God, every background is just absolutely stunning. The show has substantially grew my love for pinks and purples because the sunset/dawn backgrounds are so, just chef's kiss. And I personally think the writing is amazing, especially since we're in an era where, for some reason, well-made movies or books just completely ignore the show don't tell rule. I'll talk about something like that a little later. And I think that Steven Universe does a beautiful job of just having natural flowing dialogue that communicates information well without having to shove the spoon of info down your throat. No crazy spoilers, just in case anybody wants to get into watching it. I highly recommend it because it's so silly, but I do want to talk about this one episode, and I'm basically just kind of gonna spoil the whole plot because it absolutely tore my heart apart, and I really want to talk about it. So if you don't want to hear about it, you can just skip ahead to this timestamp. But basically, the main character, the little boy, Steven, wants to regain his confidence in being able to join his gem family on dangerous missions. So to help him, you know, give him that reassurance, the gems create this 3-stage dungeon puzzle that Steven has to pass. And, you know, spoiler for the episode, but basically the dungeon turns out to be rigged, where Steven cannot get hurt and he can basically pass all the puzzles by quite literally breathing. There's this scene where he breaks out of the dungeon and he overhears the gems at the end talking about like how they have no idea what to do and how to raise Steven properly, and it's just such a vulnerable moment. And I don't know, that just hit me so hard because when you really think about it, Steven is such a doomed protagonist. He's the only person of his kind, half human and half gem, so they have no idea how to properly raise him. He's too young to completely understand the wars that the homeworld gems and the crystal gems fought, and hell, he doesn't even completely understand why adults lie to each other. And worst of all, he's a little kid who has a dad that's basically not there most of the time, and he's being taken care of by 3 rock aliens that don't have a clue about human interpersonal relationships and where to begin fostering Steven's growth while also keeping him safe. Especially since Steven's mom, who used to be the leader of the gems, is gone, and without her guidance, the gems are super lost, and they just never like state that, oh, you know, I have like no idea what I'm doing, and like, you know, Steven's growth, but it's just like, they do use dialogue to like get some points more like straight up, like across, but a lot of this information you just kind of learn by watching Steven or overhearing these conversations, and of course the dialogue is a huge part of it. It's so good. And even sadder is that in that episode, Steven completes the dungeon and pretends to be super impressed so that the gems feel like they did the right thing, which mirrors how the gems always shield the horrors of the world from Steven because Steven is too young to process, you know, gem politics and everything. And it's amazing. I love it so much. It's just, this type of writing echoes throughout the entire show, and I'm so excited to rewatch everything now that I know all of the major twists, because there's so many clues that have just been laid about like every single episode basically. There are some problems I have with the show narratively, you know, there's no perfect show, but overall it's gorgeous, it's fun, and the story's great, so I don't know what's the problem. Plus, they give you a small dose of exposition through each episode. Sometimes the exposition is just so subtle that it makes you think the episode is literally just filler, but by being observant and just kind of paying attention a little more, and especially knowing like the whole overarching like story, there's like a lot of information that you just slowly learn even through the really slow episodes. And it's great, and I totally recommend checking it out if you haven't already. Speaking of stuff that I've been watching, I also recently watched K-pop Demon Hunters, and the music is like really good. I think how it's done and like Idol are probably my top 2, but low-key, the Soda Pop song has been like spinning in my head for like God knows how long, and I literally cannot get rid of it. I love the characters, I think a lot of people share this opinion, but just to put it simply, I felt like it, well, one, it was obviously too short. Like, when I was watching with my friend, we found out that credits were like 20 minutes of the movie, and it was about like an hour 30, so it was basically just an hour and like 10 minutes, which was crazy. And I have this like conspiracy theory where I think the way that the show, or not the show, see, I even said it, the way that the movie was like planned and set up, and the way just the characters that are written, it feels like it was supposed to be a show. It really does. Like, even when I was talking about this with my brother, he originally thought it was a show. Like, when he saw the trailer, he's like, oh yeah, I saw a little bit of the first episode. I'm like, oh, it's not a show, it's a movie. And he's like, oh. And there's a lot, I don't want to be like a negative person, but there's just like a lot that, like, in the writing and narratively did not go very well. And I'm not saying that the music was bad. The music was really good, and the art was just absolutely gorgeous. I love how expressive the characters are, even though I feel like, especially the main 2 characters, like they weren't that expressive. You know, like I know you can express like this whole spectrum of emotions in the style that they chose that really like just referenced off of like old cartoons and like anime and just like all of this stuff. Like, they just didn't do it at all. Like, low-key, they were like mogging for like 30 minutes. I'm like, you don't need to like mog the whole time, you know? You can show a little emotion. So it made some scenes kind of feel weird and like stale, because like you hear the words they're saying and it's supposed to be like an emotional scene, and then their face is just like deadpan. It's like so weird. And I feel like the characters themselves just didn't get enough development. And even the characters that got focused on didn't get enough development. Because the main two characters... Oh, I guess we're getting to spoiler territory again. My bad. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear about this, if you haven't watched it yet. Timestamp right here. But, I just, like... people told me that, like, the writing and the romance was really good. Girl, I didn't feel a single drop of chemistry between these two characters. I am so sorry. And they like sang like a whole song about like, okay, just the song like implied and the lyrics just made it sound like that they've known each other for a long time. But the way that the movie was paced and the way that like, and also, okay, so the movie was paced and then the amount of times they talked, literally like the conversations added up to like 3, maybe 4 if you counted like a minor scene, but they only said like 2 words to each other, so I don't think that counts. And it's one is the pacing, but 2, like the sense of time is never there. And the way that the story that they wanted to write like was presented, it feels like it's something that should have been developed over a show, right? Because, you know, spoiler alert, well, you probably already know this, but the villains, this boy band, are actually demons, right? And you know, they're K-pop demon hunters. They're supposed to hunt the demons. And I feel like the boy band was supposed to be like that big baddie, like that big villain, like at the end of a show that like you take like episode by episode to kind of like fight a little bit and learn about and kind of like figure them out and then defeat them. And then like each episode maybe would be like a new demon monster, you know? They're like causing something, and then like the main 3, the girls, will like, you know, develop their relationship and, you know, forward the plot and the conflict with Rumi and her like half demon thing going on. Like that's what it felt like, right? Like I totally saw the concept, but then the way that it was squished into the movie, which I get it. Most of the time, I don't really blame like the directors or like the people who like worked on the movie, you know, not the execs, like the people who worked on it. I don't usually blame them for like time and stuff, because especially since art is just getting a huge budget cut recently, and like, you know, most of the time this stuff isn't really up to the little guys, it's up to the big companies that are publishing the movie, right? I get it, like, I could understand that, like, maybe you just didn't have the budget for a show. But did you really have to spend your limited budget on doing basically nothing? Like, you could even do, like, a montage. You gave these characters, like, 3 conversations and expected them to have, like, explosive chemistry. Like, this weird, like, romance thing they tried to set up, like, didn't really, like, feel it. And then, even worse, like, more spoilers for the ending, if, you know, but they just all die. Like, the hunters just killed them all. Like, all the demon boys. Like, even the main one. And then, like, I don't know. The deaths just didn't have any weight. Not even the main dude. Junie? Is that his name? The black-haired guy? He didn't even have, like, any weight to his death. I didn't, like, feel anything. I didn't even cry. And I'm a crier. So, like, that's pretty impressive that you couldn't even get me emotional for a scene that's kind of, like, got the construction and foundation for an emotional scene. And I don't know, it just felt so like stale. And then my favorite characters weren't even the ones that got even that much screen time or development. Like, I didn't really care for Rumi much. She didn't really have like a discernible personality. She just kind of like was a little silly and goofy and then like stuck around the other groups. And then half the time was just her like being angsty, but it wasn't even like interesting angst because you didn't get any like, you know what I mean? Like, the people involved in her backstory only got, like, 2 scenes, and then, like, it's just her, like, panicking, and I don't know, they just didn't give a purpose to much. And then you lose all sense of time because the pacing is so bad. You don't know how much time has passed. It feels like there should have been a lot of time that passed, but low-key, like, it literally felt like this whole movie was taking place upon a single week. That's how bad the pacing was. And so my favorite characters were Mira. I love Mira from the trio, the pink-haired girl. I just think I love her voice. I love her really sharp design. She's super duper recognizable. I love her personality, just everything. And then I also like the Demon Boys as well, which I think mad props to the people who are in charge of like the character direction and the art, because I feel like even though they literally had no screen time, there were characters that literally only got like one piece of dialogue, and yet you could still feel their personality through the visuals and just through like their overall demeanor. And I feel like that's really good character design and character writing, even though there's like barely any, right? And so you like had something there. You had something there, and then you could have done something with it. And even like then, the demon boys literally did not interact with each other barely like at all. So you didn't even know like their dynamics or anything. So like in the end, there's, you know, they realized like, oh, we can't even use the demon boys as a plot device because they literally have nothing fleshed out. They have no opinions on each other, and all they are literally just like bad guy villain, like want to kill main character, you know. Like there's just so much lost potential, and I feel like so many movies and stuff like recently are just kind of been like that. It's always a good concept and they're always good characters that hook you in, but the writing itself just needs so much touch up. And just the fact that they cut so much without making up for what they cut, you know? They didn't really condense anything. Okay, I'll stop talking about it. But either way, I do love the characters. Maybe not Rumi or Gino. I don't really care about them that much. I honestly care about everyone else about them. But I love seeing the artwork. I think that's a really cool thing that came out of the movie. How like artists kind of band together and they kind of just all like decide that this is the thing that they're gonna hyperfixate on for like the month. It's great. It's like free content. But yeah. And I think that's about it for today. Here's the finished doodle spread. I had fun just kind of jotting down where I was thinking and filling space with little guys. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. And again, thank you so much to everybody who attacked me so far. I'm forever grateful for the support, and please be patient with uploads and revenges. I'm doing my absolute best to get everything out without like literally going insane. And if there's absolutely anything you'd like me to talk about in the future videos, or even questions/anecdotes you have, please don't be afraid to just leave a comment. I do my best to read and respond to every single one, and it helps me understand what people like to see, so I can better find common ground between content I like to make and what content people like to see. So either way, thanks for checking in. My Artfight and its Instagram are in the description if you'd like to check either out, and I hope you enjoyed your stay. Bye-bye!